just to make sure that we're on. My voice, what is that? Um, give everyone a minute to catch up, come in. We're just going to be right back and see how everything's working. So, take 3. Okay. What's up? Are we back? What's good? Can you hear me? I live in the dark. Do you know who I am? I am the devil. Dance with me. You know what I can give you? I can give you sex. I can give you drugs. And what I most certainly can give you is house. Okay. That's sex, drugs, and house. Sex and drugs and house. Baby, baby. That was my party song. So we're back on air. And the D Devils. Yeah, I loves that. That makes sense. I feel like I'm heating up. Okay. So, post intermission, I'm having a few thoughts about everything that just transpired. There was no real cause. I noticed like there's like a red bar that comes up for no connection, and that flashed at one point when I said, wait, is something wrong? And then I was reconnected on my end, but then y'all were like not connected on this end. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. Restarted my computer, everything's fine. My phone was connected to the Wi-Fi when I was unable to connect to the stream. It was just it was kind of weird, right? It's a little bit weird. And it's funny because I was about to jump into the Halloween Oracle, and a few things that I would say. One, probably went too fast. Two, probably should discuss what kind of reading this is. Three, the first card that I saw was this. Okay? And just as I looked down and say, oh, and went to go pick it up and say, you owe me a tip, because that's what I always say when I get Lady de los Muertos. I read your comments in the chat, and I was like, oh shit. That is not the message. She's never carried any other message than that one in my deck. It's a mutual understanding or agreement because the nature of our relationship is that we ended up working together. We weren't, she just helps me in that way. But this was a completely disrupted to the stream. What the fuck? That was not leave me no damn tip. That was bitch better have my money. Who y'all think y'all frontin' on? Bitch better have my money. Right? Y'all don't call me on my bluff, baby. What you owe me? Right? Don't act like you forgot. I skip something. You get it. Bitch better have my money. And I'm not talking about y'all owing me money like that. But I knew as soon as everything was unfolding the way it just did, that this was a wrap. This was like, someone's coming back. Someone's coming back. And they better be ready to empty their pockets kind of energy. Like, you better have your fucking finances in check before you approach anything. And I think that goes both ways, where somebody is going to approach you and you need to do some extra security to know that they're good and they got it for themselves. All right? Yeah. And it's okay. Like, people are broke and it's okay to give chances. Yo, you're in the right place. I think it's super uncomfortable and really weird for people to do personal readings on public forums like this. I understand zodiac readings, which is what I did when I made YouTube videos, but it's a lot harder to go through the whole zodiac on stream. And so I just divvied it up into nights where I use specific decks. Tonight's is the self, and this reading, this particular deck, is what I use when I channel messages from the other side. But also, I use it for shadow readings, as in the shadow self, or what you may hear about Dark Night of the Soul. This is people who are on that journey, kind of. The shadow self. So it's like negative stuff where it's like, yeah, you have to stand up to someone. You have to say, like, this is, do not get it twisted. Don't put it this way, that way. Could be something like, I hate using this analogy because I would never want to pin this on anybody or be a cliche, but it's easier, I think, for people to understand if they can have a real world example. But think of it like, so your baby daddy owed you child support, something. And he comes back on some, I love you, let's try again. But the test is saying, like, now wait a second. If you can get those bills and that debt squared away, that's fine. Do that. But don't come back thinking that I'm going to let it wash away. Because in order for you to prove to me that you've changed based on the last time we were together, then you'll have to do something you've never done, and that was pay me on time or whatever. Bitch, better have my money. It's those kind of vibes. This like, no, wait a second. No, wait a second. Okay, somebody who stole from you, like, no, I didn't forget. Somebody who owes you, you're like, no. You owe me this and that. You said you were gonna blah, blah, blah. You're using my this and that. Like, this is, bitch, better have my money. It's the damn about cover songs, isn't it? Well, What to pay for a bootleg, eh? Kidding. Kidding. So this is a shadow self. Also think about your former debts if you are the one collecting money. Okay, because I think about that, and as I briefly mentioned, but really didn't dwell. See how I dropped all those cards, because shadow self, we can't keep all these. It's okay to be broke, like it happens. You know, a lot of people live in poverty. The world is a terrible place. A lot of things are working against us actively. A lot of people don't realize how much privilege they have when they get things like trust funds or investments. Okay, so like, we are not shitting on broke people or broke bitches or the whole like poverty mindset. It's very hard to like recognize or break out of a system, let alone the way it affects your personal life. So like, we are not fucking judging people based on their income on this fucking channel. We are in class solidarity, not classist. Okay. So like, do not get it twisted. We're talking about working men over here. Okay. So I'm not trying to say like anything, but try to remember, if there is someone who owes you money, it's time to remember why you're learning this lesson and who maybe you didn't pay back in the past, or who felt cheated by you and blah, blah, blah. Because these are full circle moments that we're coming across, where everything that was kind of coming up in 2012 is now closing out in 2022, and it's like a long time coming, but also full circle decade, end of the world conundrum. Conundrums come up twice tonight. That's not a word I usually say even once a day, but I've said it twice on the stream. Conundrum indeed. So I think that's going to be an interesting theme moving forward. I cannot say Capricorn is the queens of mind games, but perhaps they could be a little mental. So I think we can prepare for that. Where Sagittarius season's feeling really good, feeling confident, feeling bold, passionate, forward, brave, beautiful. Capricorn season about to hit a little bit different. You start off in the same way as Sag season with a holiday where Christmas is right there. So it's like this week-long celebration. Everything feels like it's going to be good. Then it all starts sinking in that we are dead winter, New Year's, no resolutions, never fucking did shit. You know, like instant, like, oh, fuck. My shoulder randomly just started hurting. You saw that I was sitting in one position. So, like, what? Something I learned, if you're having shoulder pains, I feel like it was, if you just like do this, like reach up, try to do it like 20 times, a few times, sets of 20, 5 times a day or something like that to help with this whole area. Of course, you would do it more like this, straight on and reach up, but I'm doing it at an angle to try to show you. So just a suggestion if you're having shoulder pains at all. So I wasn't until that moment. I didn't do anything to irritate it. So if that's the case for you, there you go. Don't know where I was. Pain was sharp. So, looking into the shadow self. Remember when you were broke. Remember how many people gave you a chance. Remember how many people cleaned their debts. Is this something where you really need the money, or is this something where you could probably just be done with the connection instead of hound them for what they have given? It's weird, it came in as given instead of taken or whatever. Can you wash the debts away? Can you clear the slate for someone? Is that where your life is at? Is that the blessings that you have? Kind of have to ask yourself that. What is it that they owe you? And on one hand, like, time owes you nothing. Life doesn't owe you anything. But at the same time, do we not follow laws of, like, karma and such, where it does pay in and pay back, and then equates to what is or what is meant to be in some regard, where even if nobody does anything, kind of will just happen anyways. Likely, you know? Because, okay, so we're tying back into this. I still think about that first reading was really kind of weird, where it was all about repressed emotions and holding things back and how it can literally make you sick. It kept coming up, and And here we are, the shoulder pain, like carrying too much weight. But also just seeing that we are inherently good and therefore we're inherently bad. Because people who assure you or try to affirm to you that they are a good person usually are not. Like, that's a pretty big red flag if someone's constantly having to remind people that they're a good person. One, it's sort of like, why do you have to say it? If you are really a good person, other people will say you're a good person. Two, who are you trying to convince? Because it's not us, right? Three, no one's really good or bad, are they? We're both. So if you can't say as earnestly I'm a bad person as you can say that you're a good one, then I'm not buying it. You know what I mean? Say nothing, you're just a person. People make mistakes. It's like this part of the shadow, this part of life, this part of the season, the winter, is reflecting on key points, people who have helped you in the past. Right. Well, the more you can reckon with being a bad person, the better of a person you can be. Because if you can identify what is wrong or bad about you, then you have the opportunity to fix it and choose to be a good person by doing what is morally or justly communally respected as a good choice, which does not involve the government or laws, by the way. I'm not going to sit here and be like, that's the ultimate moral compass. It ain't. Like, we know it's a long history of bloodshed and that's bad. So I'm not saying the government's bad. I'm just saying that's not really what we're basing good and bad on, is like a bunch of laws and what's legal or anything like that. But yeah, I think even beyond a state of mind, it's a conscious choice to like choose good or evil. Um, I'm a chaotic good person. I will do things that I think are for the greater good at any cost, even to my own self, if not others, where I'm like, but I thought this was the best thing to do because wouldn't it just be better if everyone was doing this and happy and blah, blah, blah. And chaotic good can be very messy and you end up doing bad because you're doing it chaotically, right? But there's really no by the book. And so, like, a lawful good is just as well as a true neutral, because lawful good is like if you're following what the law says is good, the law makers haven't really always been good or had other people in their forefront when coming up with law as we know it. So you gotta just do what's right. Good night. I love you. He's like, we're talking alignment charts. I gotta go. You're gonna suck me into an anime next? I don't need no 800 episodes. Okay, good night. Love you. I'm full of jokes. I'm not saying I was just. Yeah. So, shadow self. This is about looking back and being like, damn, in what ways was I a mess? In what ways is the person I'm dealing with now a mess? In what ways did I leave a mess? In what ways am I cleaning up a mess? Like, it's this chaotic energy, which is messy energy, which is blah 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 blah. But this being this like 10-year kind of closeout of a decade, especially as a year of the end of the world like 2012 was, right? That was like Y2K panic in the mid aughts. And it was kind of a weird time. People were really in fuck it mode, whether they believed it or not. It was a party scene back then, and you know, rave culture was mainstream. They say heroin chic now, but there were people just doing the most, like in in every regard, in daily life, in social jokes, or even like the things we used to post on Facebook. It's so hilarious the way things take a turn. It was a party era, right? And so it did have Y2K vibes in that regard too, where it's like dance until the world ends. Um, did Britney come out with that song that year? That'd be crazy if she did that. So not. Either way, I hope you get what I'm getting at. 10 years later, 10 years after the world ended, where are we now? Where are we now? What are we doing? What's happening? What's going on? But instead of overwhelming yourself by thinking about these things in the big picture or on the grand scale or the macro lens, try to revolutionize yourself by seeing it from the micronic perspective. Yeah, I think some people, I am still trying to figure out life, but that's only because I found myself so quickly that I had no idea how I was supposed to live it out. Right? So I have the opposite problem. I was thinking about that the other day, how there's like this ongoing, I don't really find it to be funny, and I think jokes should be funny, so I don't want to call it a joke. So I guess it's like a meme or just a social norm, or millennials comment that they don't really have personalities, or like people who become parents, like I really have a hard time relating to that because I'm like all personality. Like I am, yeah, it's hard. It's like, sure, I identify with the things that I like, but also I like them because I identify with them, not make them my identity. Does that make sense? You may argue that me personally am someone who's like, please, you make it completely your identity. It's like, sure, but that's only because I knew who I was first and I know that this fits me really well. So, like, I have a hard time with that thought of that problem. I found myself very early on. But that's like, you're going down a difficult road no matter which one you take, basically. If you gotta find yourself later in life, but at least you have everything and it's solid, whereas I'm more of a fucking free range kind of nomad, off whatever um, type. Because I was like, well, I'm still finding myself. I'm still figuring out who I am. So I'm not going to really commit to anything just yet, right? But a lot of people make commitments early on and they're like, damn, I didn't even give myself a damn choice. Marky again. Okay, thanks, Marky Mark. That's so sweet. Were you born in 2006, by the way? Because that would really trip me out. But yeah, thanks. Love you. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Um, oh my gosh. Wow, that's so weird, but like totally acceptable because this is like at least a 21 and up crowd, if not sometimes 25 and up, depending on my mood. No, you're good. 2000, that's so weird. We were just talking about Y2K though and like end of the world stuff, but 2012, not necessarily 99. So also I was thinking that maybe 99 Y2K panic was actually tipping us off to what was going to happen in 2012. Like I've thought about that a lot. Like the Matrix was trying to warn us and they're like, "Oh no, 1999, it's happening." And then nothing happened, so everybody went about their business. But while everyone's panic died down in the background low key, they were like one by one making it work. And by 2012, boom, there we were. New Earth, new age, new dawn of a new day, or whatever the fuck was going on. Lionsgate, Golden Tower power. That makes no sense. You were born. Oh, you, two different people. Sorry, you're both purple, and I was confused. Um, wow. So we got a good range here. We got a good range because I was right between y'all in for Y2K. So yeah. I'm thinking that a lot of what we expected to happen in 1999 really happened in 2012. And now in 2020, we had this like big fucking showdown production of like, who knows what the fuck that was really. Um, I kind of like to be clear on one thing. I'm more of an anarchist or humanitarian than anything. So please refrain from my, um, you know, categorizing me as a party person. I don't go to parties. Okay. It's just one thing. And I would never discredit anyone's very real experience that they had during that time. I am just not convinced with the way that things happened, nor did they feel natural, right? But it would be like, okay, if this whole thing started in 2012, it would make sense to have this big, like, right at the end, couple years to do whatever the fuck they needed to do to transition. That's so crazy. This isn't even a mystery deck. It does feel a little bit like, who brought up conspiracy? Nobody said anything, but why did we get on this topic so seamlessly when it went from like, oh, have a great day, love you, to all of a sudden, like, it's the end of the world and they've already taken over? Like, when did this happen? Who the fuck is the conspiracy theorist? You know, maybe it was little Marilyn Monroe. She's like, I wasn't crazy, but I was so hot that everybody just didn't want to listen to what the fuck I was saying. Girl, I totally get you on that. Like, yeah, me and Marilyn Monroe have a lot in common. Aquarius moons, Aries and Venus, and the godmothers of modern conspiracy. Fucking fight me, because we were both also very messy in bed and notoriously good lovers. Okay, so I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Let's get back to the cards, right? Should we? Probably? Yeah, makes the most sense. Y'all smoke weed? Just like awkwardly, just like, hey, sorry, it was kind of a lot. Okay, I don't know if you're being sarcastic because whatever, but like, they hated her. Oh, I think she's straight dead. Her and Kennedy. I saw a TikTok stating that her body went missing for like 6 hours after she died, and I just like, people were so immoral to her. It makes no fucking sense. It's like, oh, I hate it. And her whole burial. Well, who let that happen, you know? Okay, fair. I do too. I just don't think they would have kept Marilyn Monroe. It's too risky. Then again, who knows? I'm alive ish. Science fiction. Ooh, double feature. I was gonna try to fucking switch the circle of life, but it just doesn't make sense unless you play them at the same time. And I get that everything is Hamlet or whatever, but at the same time, it's like uncanny that the songs, everything about those movies, man, it's so good. Um, cool. So here's another. Let's do this right now. Let's tie in exactly what we're talking about. Conspiracy, anything being possible, even like the government cover-ups of certain celebrity deaths, such as Marilyn Monroe. Okay, she died like in the same year as Kennedy. That's all anybody needs to know for that to be whole ass completely completed. Like the fuck. Um, but okay, so let me roll the ad before. Let me slow down. Give me, we'll do 3 minutes. I'm sorry, a couple people just got here. I'm about to do the big ad because I get more time. Yeah, okay. Be right back. Okay, I'm back, but I'm having a slight technical difficulty situation. Give me 1 second, please. Right, I fixed it. Okie dokie. Bum ba-dum, back. Okay, got coldy again, so put this back on. Okay, so the technical difficulty isn't that technical or difficult, it's just this fucking charger. I have things set up differently, so I'm still getting used to it. And this was just something I had to figure out just now. Okay, try not to get frustrated. Managing stress. The key to living with PMDD. Okay. So, we were on kind of a good roll, talking conspiracy, tying it back to the shadow. Okay, so there was a few points I did want to bring up because I feel like it's coming up. Hold on. All right. Feels like these things are becoming more and more relevant. I almost said relevant. I don't know if that's a word, but if it is, look it up because it's probably applicable here. So things like this seem to be becoming more relevant and more to the scene, to the screen, because we are realizing who people truly are by having access to them like almost 100% of the time. People post their thoughts, they leave comments, they make videos, they do this and that, and they put themselves out there 100% all the time. And you're able to, I don't know, make assumptions or see them in all moments and therefore even their worst ones, right? But we have to learn to tolerate people's bad moments when they are just bad moments and they aren't inherently bad people, as long as you choose mostly good and make mistakes once in a while. And depending on what those mistakes are, you know, there's a lot that I think should just easily be forgiven as long as it's understood why it was wrong, right? But then there are things I think we need to be a little bit tougher about, like, and it's hard to talk about. I don't know why it's so hard for people to talk about it. I don't know why it's so hard for people to make waves or complaints or be passive or to choose to stop being passive, I should say. And recently, like in the past, I don't know, few days, few weeks, it's hard to say because it's like ideas that'll come in and out, right? And one of them being about how this resilience to tarnishing one's reputation no matter what they do. In other words, people who refuse to separate the art and the artist, or the opposite, people who say separate the art from the artist, I guess is what I'm getting at. Okay, so people who are like, oh, I can like this person even if they were a shitty person. To some extent, sure. If they're an asshole or they did something in their past and they kind of like address it, make up for it in some capacity or change or whatever, sure, they are an asshole to people. So what? Everybody is a dick at work. But if they're like racist all the time or fucking, you know, raping people or worse, pedophiles, which like a lot of your faves are, and you need to wake up and hear what the fuck they say and what they do and like stop being like, well, I like their music, I like their movies, and then wait till they're fucking Weinstein and Cosby age to do something about it. Let them get away with it for the next 50 years because y'all don't want to complain about your faves. Anyone who is unwilling to tarnish the reputation of someone they like is unwilling to tarnish their own reputation. And that is a red flag, people. That's a red flag, people. Because why? Because that means they have no sense of accountability and a pretty high sense of denial. If you are trying to be so neutral, and like some people are just aligned that way, like let's just, not everyone's gonna be chaotic good. I don't expect them to be, because have you ever met chaotic evil? It's enthralling. It's like, wow, that's curious and curiouser. Okay, but if you are unwilling to be able to discuss other people's actions, right? And you think you're being righteous by saying, I'm not talking shit. And it's like, yeah, well, if you can't assess the situation of what's going on, you're not holding the people you know to any sense of accountability, and therefore you're putting other people in danger. Far from being cute. A pick me at risk of what? Like, that's the energy. And we have to recognize it. It's a flag. We can't just be like, oh, I can look past this, difference of opinion, that's fine. But when we are elevating and paying for and illuminating pedophiles and like giving them our money, but then you turn around and get all pissy about the local this or that, that's crazy because you have Drake as #1 on Spotify. Can't relate, not a Spotify user, but like, what the fuck? And you can't just say, well, he's this and that, he's famous, so it's different. Fuck yeah. Fuck it. Fuck it. Speak up in those moments, right? Like, speak up in any moment. Turn that shit off. Say no. Because the more you reject the things that you hate to see or hear, the less you will see and hear them, even if they still exist elsewhere, right? Like, those are the basics of manifesting. If you want to be your own algorithm, you have to feed your algorithm. And rejecting that shit and saying, you know what, I am canceling my Spotify subscription. What the fuck? My YouTube subscription's probably not any better. It does feel more useful and worth my money, not gonna lie. But I ain't gonna cancel that anytime soon, so I'm not really suggesting that. But I'm just saying maybe we rely less on Amazon. But okay, so this. Oh my God, y'all! Can we please take a moment to talk about Jeffrey Bezos? Because listen, this man has been the richest man in the world for like a minute, right? He has completely monopolized online shopping. He is like beyond that, doing drone services, hooked up in the house. He's like the Space Odyssey 2001 meets Kohl's 3022, okay? Like, I don't know what, okay? He looks just like Lex Luthor, and he's like doing everything Lex Luthor does, and then he cheated on his wife, and she gave away billions of dollars, and he didn't even budge, right? And then, and then Bo Burnham made that song and put his ass on blast. Like, Jeffrey, you could literally, like, what are you doing, man? And he still didn't fucking budge. Still didn't budge. Still wanted to be Lex Luthor, right? And like still had a fucking chokehold on the whole system, not paying their workers, all this other fucking bullshit, right? Just getting richer and richer. And then we see what's happening with like, I don't know, I guess Kanye. He's not necessarily a billionaire, but he's the ex of one, isn't he? And so like billionaire drama, not looking good, right? Then we see Elon Musk and his decision to buy Twitter, and oh man, was that fun to watch. The world burn, wasn't it? The bird burn. Watch the bird burn. He had no idea what he was doing. Everybody quit on him, sinking ship. People were just like, no, fuck him. He is as much of an asshole as you think he is. And he was like, God damn it, I gotta do this shit myself and I don't know what I'm doing. And then he continues to dig the hole by tweeting stuff. Whatever. I'm not really here to criticize Elon Musk necessarily. But I did notice when he was getting dragged through the mud for Twitter and all these accounts were impersonating other accounts and there was nothing he could do because it was stupid buying. Made a really bad business decision, right? It backfired. Okay. Within a few days, there was a headline about Jeff Bezos. And he finally, like, did something where he, like, gave away or, like, decided to pledge half his fucking salary or some fucking Scrooge shit where he's like, all right, I'm seeing it now. Like, I kind of see what Bo Burnham was saying. My ex-wife was probably right, and now I never want to become Elon Musk. And he started giving all his money away, and now we got this fucking I don't have Amazon or Alexa, but they're doing that package thing where it's like, here's $5 for everyone an unlimited amount of times. So you could have been doing that, but you know what? It's like better late than never, right? But it is kind of funny that apparently just the like littlest bit of internet bullying does truly go a very long way in terms of billions of dollars. So I say all this to say it has very little to do with our shadow selves, other than perhaps we can see that we, on a personal level, may be going through something, but we can also witness that we are not alone in our journeys, not to compare ourselves to billionaires, but clearly that man was going through something. And it all hit him like a ton of bricks. And he was like, if I do not at least act like a good person or think morally driven, then I am going to be ruined like all these fools before me. And so, good riddance. I mean, okay, do that then. That's crazy. Talk about a good retrograde, right? Like, think about the last 10 years. Bezos was like, I didn't pass that test, did I? And everyone was like, yeah, absolutely didn't. A little bit of internet bullying really does go a long way. Like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. My impression of him has not changed. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not buying it. The only billionaire that's not getting the guillotine is Mark Cuban because he's proven to us time and time again that he will buy us the guillotine and the dining hall for when we eat the rich. The fact that he's taking on big pharma and minding his fucking business and still giving money to small businesses that end up making him money, he like can't help it. Money is very attracted to him. He's the only billionaire that I'm keeping alive. And if it weren't for his pharmaceutical company, it probably wouldn't. But now I'm like, nah, he'll totally invest in the guillotine, right? Like, all these other fools, definitely the self image and not the self reflection. But it is funny how you see that these things will take effect or take hold on people that you least expect or never did, or like it gets to people eventually because he's still sickly rich, and like I said, the fact that he can do this now means he always could have done it. It's like, what? And he's still gonna make money on top of that, you know? But hey, maybe this is his coming of age film where he realizes he was a villain and now he's becoming the good guy. No, I doubt it. This is America, right? Yeah, they're probably gonna fucking. No, I'm kidding. Come on, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. They better not. Cool. No, no, no. I'm glad we got into conspiracy tonight. That was a lot of fun. That's my shadow self, okay? Like, I deal with premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So, like, this week or two before my period, they're like, ew, it's like, get over it. This is literally my whole life. I gotta deal with a new symptom every day, right? This week I'm a lot more feisty, a lot more in your face, a lot more trying to fight somebody rather than fuck them, you know what I mean? And so conspiracy does well for me. I love talking about this goofy shit. Um, the shadow reading also right on point because this is my shadow self is Tyler Durden. He's terrifying. Terrifying. Like I can be an extremely bad person. I'm a Taurus, you know? Um, and yeah, I can take it out on myself for a while, but eventually I just can't take another throw and it's gonna go somewhere else, right? So I gotta curb that. Shadow self, dark night of the soul, recognizing this behavior and othering it for yourself so you don't become disconnected from it but can understand it, right? By having other examples. What's your shadow self look like, right? Who's your shadow self? I hope no one's dealing with anything as extreme as Tyler Durden. If so, seek therapy, not tarot readings. Um, Says a lot for someone who just said that about themselves. Yeah, well, it's only like 6 to 12 days a month, so usually every other. Relax, I got it under control. I got him under control. That's why I'm staying sedated. I don't know if it feels like I have a lot of new people on here lately, but if you've watched my streams before, it's like your inner self or your dark side. It's your dark side of the moon, you know what I'm saying? It's like your underground, your inner thoughts, your bad side, yeah. Um, it does feel like a lot of new people on here, but I feel like I'm a lot of times like I sit so still that people think the screen froze. And then I'll be like, oh no, it's just reading your comments. Like, oh. Even in my real life or like when I'm on the phone, people are like, whoa, whoa, you moved. But you'll notice like tonight I was doing a lot of hands and stuff. Bro, I feel like you ask me that too much and you're supposed to not ask me that. This is why I've been smoking way more weed tonight, and you can tell I'm getting in that Tyler Durden territory because I'm moving a lot. I'm getting all close to the camera. I'm leaning back. I'm talking conspiracy. I'm getting riled up. Like, yeah, that's the energy. That's why I'm like also high as fuck right now because it very quickly can become angry and raging, you know? So, like, I hate it, but I can be a little scary. So, no, I'm not able to. Unless you wanted to privately book a reading with me via my website, available in the links provided on my page, or you can email me directly, or what the fuck ever you want to do. But you're not going to make this entire stream, which is for general readings, about you. It's good. It's good stuff. That's my shadow side coming out. So this is a very appropriate time to be giving shadow readings. And that's why this card coming out did not feel like, oh, you need to tip me like it normally does. That's all I've ever ascribed this to mean is, oh, you got to leave me a tip. It doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be this or that. But that's what this card has always represented. And tonight, it just felt different. It felt like coming back for the check, coming back for what you're owed, but also remembering your own debts or who was there for you, spotted you, who you paid back, who paid you back, okay? Night Song, Hidden Talents, okay? Really? That's interesting. Tomorrow night is going to be more love-based readings. It'll be more insight into that. Tonight is, well, take a look at your damn self before you try to look at anybody else. That is the overall lesson, I think, with any of these shadow readings, but with this theme in particular of reflection over the last 10 years and me even revealing parts of my own shadow, right? Because, like, I'm being a dick to people. I'm staying subdued so that I don't totally just, like, be super angry. It's wild. I have a lot of different moods, but at least I know when they're coming. You know what I'm saying? It's not random, so it's like kind of easier to manage that way, and I just kind of know how to handle it. Right? So that's good. Scrying, intuition. Okay, you gotta start trusting your intuition. Part of your shadow self, okay, is like what I'm getting really, really fast. Okay, eternal love is love and it transcends physical death. Did you lose someone that you were romantic with or interested in? Because I'm feeling like that could be the case. You gotta understand that like souls can regenerate, but also like lifetimes can be spent in any kind of way. There's reason to believe here what I'm seeing. We have joy, rejoicing in the present, and we have the lamp, remembrance, with the scrying, intuition. So this is saying, like, use your intuition, because if you can hear yourself, you are, yes, maybe reflecting on past events, remembering someone who passed away, but also needing to have joy in every moment and be hearing someone who wants to be wanted. It's okay to reflect on things, but you have to still move forward. Okay? And yes, trust your intuition instead of doubting everything. You know, ancestors, the love and legacy of our DNA. So connect to your roots and try to go for something you know will suit you instead of trying to make it work with anybody you meet. That would be key advice, like going after something you know is right instead of going after anything that you can get, okay? Like, that sounds obvious, but the fact that I have to say it is slightly embarrassing. But yeah, so okay. Whoa, eternal love is love and it transcends physical death. Again. Again. We got trick or treat, mischief, and play. You need to see love for what it is and not some tumultuous, painstaking task that you inevitably have to tie yourself down to, but something to be enjoyed and games to be played. And I'm not talking about mind game fuckery. I'm talking you make a move, I make a move. Chess is a game too. You might get a date and you bring her flowers, and the next time she brings you chocolates, and the next time you bring this and that, and it's cute, and that's a game too. Okay, so put some love into it, put some joy into it, put some pep in your motherfucking step if you want to get out there. Hi, punch drinker. Um, for sure, but nobody wants to know you upon first meeting you either. Right? You feel like you know me, but at the same time, you don't know anything about me, and yet I divulged a lot of very important, crucial, or even teachable things about me, correct? But you, it's like you don't know my name, you don't know my name. You know? So you don't have to really hold back necessarily, but just know what you're putting up and try to find someone who likes that. Once again, going after everything is just going to make you feel like nothing because you'll get rejected more often the more times you swing. I'm all about shooting your shot, especially during Sag season, but just know when to retreat, know when to give up, and know when something's not worth it when you're not vibing. Okay. The Witch, the Earthly Weaver of the Worlds. This is my card. It's become my card. If this shows up, it means whatever I said is resonating hard, and go with it, run with it, look at it, hear it, play it back when you can once this is posted. Yeah. Okay? Like, that's all me. So I'm an Earth sign. See? Now you know something else about me. Winter, the sacredness of pausing. Once again, take these last couple weeks of Sag season to put yourself out there and then delete the apps. Don't try to find a date for Christmas. That's overwhelming. It's too much. Wait till after the holidays and say, I think I'm going to meet someone soon. Right? If you want to get a date before Valentine's Day, that's fine. Lay down a little groundwork. But I would just take a break. Come back out in spring. Like a chicken. You know what I mean? And then by next fall, you can be with someone. You just have to know when to give up. You can't like exhaust all your resources, keep exhausting your resources and being like, why are my resources exhausted? You gave them no time to replenish. Okay? Chill. Kind of like, gotta know when to hold back and when to let go or whatever. Cauldron, synergy and healing. Make some goddamn soup. But think about what you're thinking about when you put the ingredients in, okay? And I'm not going to tell you much else unless you pay me to, but just, it's about coming together so you can fix things. It's about working with one another for what's best for the whole community, okay? Barnbrack, sweetness and synergy. Holy shit, we got both of these, okay? So they both are synergy. One is sweetness and synergy, and one is synergy and healing. So, wow. Make soup, bake bread, and then pass it around because there's always plenty of both when you do that. That is really wholesome energy. So synergy is really when like two energies do come together and synthesize. Not really, but when the energies are working in tandem, working side by side, truly, and sweetness, coming together out of pleasure, coming together because you want to, coming together just to show one another how much I love you, right? But then also coming together for the purpose of healing, for the purpose of tying off loose ends or closing things out. It's double yes, basically. Yes. Come together right now over me. Bro, that's crazy because just like I said, the witch is my card. This is my John Lennon card, baby. This is a midnight card. the most magical hour of all, and it's 12:12 and midnight is 12. I love that right now. So like fuck yes. Fuck yes. Um I was just singing John Lennon. This was face down. I didn't know what card this was when I was singing that. So I need to quit clowning around. Let's get into it. I got a bunch of face down cards here. I'm going to roll some ads real quick. If I don't roll them, they roll them automatically. Please don't get mad at me. I also have to pace myself or I get burnt out easily, okay? So I'll be right back. Use the bathroom because I probably will, okay? Okay. I totally muted my mic. Yeah, you were right. That's hilarious. I unmuted myself on the chat. I was talking shit about the Beatles, honestly. I was making a joke about how, like, the Walrus song came on earlier and the intro is so good, and then John Lennon starts singing, and it's like, that's why people don't fucking like you. Um, thought it was funny. I'm, like, recently a Beatles fan, working on it. But yeah, that all became because John Lennon and his liquid purple head. Or whatever the fuck, yeah. So, Midnight, the most magical hour of all, tipped me off. But the fact that I was singing that song, and then when I went to go do my thing, and I came back, and I was still singing it. What was I singing? Here, come on, right, come together, right now. I wonder if that's, like, not necessarily a personal message, but a general sense of truth. No one has ever... Well, let's not get into that. What's the purpose of that? I'm trying to figure out why that came up without doing a full channeled message. Working on the shadow self, though. Picking and choosing our battles. There's so many things that could come up right now, but I feel like I would just be more revealing my own shadow than actually providing any helpful information on shadow selves, if that makes sense. And I feel like keeping my mouth shut on that. There are some face down cards in here. I feel like it's weird to do cards on the side with this deck, so maybe I won't. Vampire, emotional intelligence, and Skull of Light, illumination. There might be people trying to drain you around you. There might be people that you feel are purposely trying to get a rise out of you, trigger you, lying to you, making you feel fucking crazy, aka gaslighting you. You know, I think that word gets used really out of context, really poorly, usually by people who are doing the gaslighting. Who's to say? People who are messing with you emotionally are definitely going to be exposed for what it is that they're doing. All things done in the dark will come to light. All things done underneath will rise to the surface. All things that are below will rise above. Okay? So be wary, be cautious, know your shit, own up to your shit. You're gonna be faced with it, is the thing. If you have yet to have your dark night of the soul, if you have yet to reckon with being a bad person, if you still are trying to convince yourself or find something, then yes, you are more than likely in for a rude awakening where you better come think back now in the last 10 years before these fucking tests come up. Okay? I passed all my tests this fucking fall. These winter ones sense that they might be a bit harder. There might be more challenging aspects to overcome. I'm getting that sense where I was doing really good with all my karmic tests, with all my karmic debts, even like, I just like, it's my time, and now I'm getting closer and closer to the finish line, and it's like, hold up, now it's getting even more intense. Because you waited so long, because you took the long route, because you want longevity, because you were patient, because you were kind, because you were competent, because you never wavered, right? Now, before you get there, gotta make damn fucking sure it's where you're going. Where you want to be is this finish line. And that last test is the hardest of them all, I think. So if you feel like you literally cannot take another step, just know that next one is probably it, right? Like when you finally cross, maybe that was personal for someone who's recently joined a 12-step program, sensing like somebody might be going to AA, where step by step is a big thing. Maybe the show is important to someone. Step by step, day by day, right? I don't know. I'm getting more 12-step program. It's step by step. So once you get to that last step and you feel like you can't do anymore, there's no more to do. You did it. Okay? Remember that. For real. Go with this pile. Okay, pile number 1. Pile number 2. Pile number 3. Pile number 1 is 4 cards. Pile number 2 is 2 cards. Pile number 1, 3. Was I counting backwards just now? I don't even know. Is 1 card. Okay? Think about some things. Doesn't have to be specific, doesn't have to be a list, doesn't have to be one or the next. Just think about things or pay very much attention. We go from pile to pile, what it is that comes across your mind. So think, what do you want to know the most about? That's the think now. What do you want to know a bit about, and what do you just need confirmation for? Okay? First, what is it that you want to really know about? What you need the most information on? Pile 1. What do you need the most information? Think to yourself. Remember, this is a shadow reading, so this is more likely going to show you what the fuck you're doing wrong rather than how to make it right. Okay? Let's go. Death, the internal cycle begins here. You might be dealing with a Scorpio. Maybe you are a Scorpio. Something transcribed. I meant transpired, but I said transcribed. Could be something you wrote during Scorpio season. A note? Return to King is popping in my head. I don't know if that's a movie or something. A tourniquet. Somebody wrote a suicide note or something, but didn't die. Something like that. Weird energy. Sorry, that's very sad. Death. Maybe somebody overdosed recently, especially because 12-step program. Some really heavy energies. But the eternal cycle begins here. Sometimes a death comes into our life to teach us something we needed to know while we were still alive, that they never had the chance to accomplish, right? Okay, dawn, the light after the darkness. That's not to make light of when people die, but everybody does die. And dwelling on death too much will just have you missing out on life. And that's coming from a necromancer. So, like, make sure you still get outside. Never let it consume you. Just be along for its ride, you know? There's only 5 stages of grief, but 12 steps to life. So, yeah, dawn, the light after the darkness. There's always something to look forward to. Okay? And hearth, the happiness in our hearts and homes. Make sure that your space is feeling good. 111. Your space is feeling good. Your home is clean. Declutter. Get rid of things. Invite people over. Get them incense burning. You know, stuff like that. To give comfort and to make sure that where you are is where you want to be no matter where it is, okay? So even if it's not ideal, make it your own, make it yours, make it personal and all that stuff. And zombie control. Be careful. Be careful not to indulge too much in the phones and the television and the cigarette smoking. I'm kind of getting that. Anything that can be used as a device to control oneself should be avoided, okay? So, yeah, watch out for that zombie energy. Getting too comfortable at home. It's got to be a balance. You still need to go out. You still need to see others. You still need to get up and moving, okay? So, but stay focused, right? And just, if you want something to come in, make sure you're prepared for it, basically. So then, like, next pile, what we want to know a little bit about Skull of Stars, Infinite Possibilities. Isn't that ironic? And Jack-o'-lantern protection. So putting it either way, both ways, up front here, what we're saying with this pile is like, that's some good energy. That is a good vibe to have, where you are not only protected moving forward, but you have an unlimited amount of possibilities ahead. So if there's something you want to know a little bit about, the answer is that it's a lot about it. It's anything you want it to be. It's literally open-ended and still up in the air. It was just 1313. Like, there's some energy here. Protection and infinite possibilities. That is just beautiful. Literally, like, I don't think this deck does get better than that because it is the Halloween Oracle, yeah? So what's our affirmation, confirmation, one yes or no almost kind of question, this last pile, just that quick thing you needed to know. Blindsided? No! Skull of Flowers, creating through the ashes. You may have burned a bridge, but there will be building again. Right? Or perhaps you are a phoenix or whatever energy that is. But yes, life after death, after destruction, after decay, after emergency, whatever it may be. Yeah. Eternal love. Love is love is love, and it transcends physical death once more. Remembering that the people who have left are still there, they still love you, they still look over you, that kind of energy. And reminder that we meet everyone in this life. That is literally, I also thought it was funny that I mentioned it because I don't usually, and it was changing when I looked at it. And so it was like, should I mention this? And yes, that's literally why you should look up angel number 13. 13. I've always considered 13 a lucky number. So if I was seeing 13 everywhere, I'd be joyful about it. Right? Trick or treat, baby. So just remember, we are meant to meet everyone we meet in this lifetime. Like, that's all there is to it. We are meant to meet everyone we meet in this lifetime for some reason or another. Oh, god damn, I am so good at this. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I am really good at what I do. Mummy, change. I've had to change my attitude. I used to say anybody could, but not everyone does. And that's the whole point of it, you know? And this market became oversaturated, but I decided instead of just succumbing to the fact that it was more popular than it was before, I embraced my affirmation to keep going with my payout, right? So, oh, I love that. Yeah, I love that. You gave yourself a protective emblem. So there's a lot of changes going on. And we have the barmbrack again, sweetness and synergy. And the barmbrack is a traditional Irish bread that they make at the end of the harvest season once everything is like sorted, jarred, sold, ate, fed everyone, and whatever's left, like the scraps on the table, little cranberries, walnuts, potatoes, popular things that grew in Ireland, classically, seasonally, whenever, and they would throw it in the bread. And that's what the barmbrack was. And then you'd sit with everybody in the community and break bread and eat it. I looked it up. I didn't just know that. I looked it up when I found this card. I wanted to know what the fuck the barmbrack was. And that's what I read about. So you might have some Irish heritage in you, and that's why this is all coming up. I was even doing silly accents earlier, nondescript, but it was weird because I'm usually pretty shy about doing accents unless I'm doing an impersonation or have a reason to. But as I was saying, that we meet to everyone we're meant to meet, you know? I see that the spider was at the top of the deck, which is the other John Lennon card, and of course, the midnight is right there. Wow. And then, yeah, this isn't even the bottom of the deck, it's the top. Love that for you, yeah. That makes sense. So spider, community and web weaving, and midnight, the most magical hour of all. Like, we all have these bonds that we have no idea even exist, let alone can get broken or damaged. And trick or treat, if we are not careful or playful or a little more lighthearted about things, we can really do some damage across timelines or centuries or like bloodlines, even like pretty intense stuff. Where like you don't want to get cursed, especially if you're Irish and you know Irish people. You better do what you can to maintain your relationships, is what I would say, because oh well. The veil, the future. You got to think about your future self in the sense that if you have to reincarnate, yeah, you better make sure that it's worth it. Synergy and healing, and winter, the sacredness of pausing. So you may want to take a break or not put in any effort the next few months, but by spring, you better make things better, whatever that means to you. And doing the work, including shadow self, having your dark night of the soul, being at the very pit of despair, realizing you're not the person you wanted to be and not even close to where you wanted to be, but still alive and yet not thriving, you know? Dark nights for a soul, right? Until you're willing to do that, you should not go back or try again. Night Song, hidden talents. Focus on that. Focus on the thing that made your ancestors money. Focus on the thing that you've always wanted to do, felt called to do, and never gave yourself the opportunity to. Invisibility is authenticity. Who are you behind closed doors? Who are you when the clothes come off? Who are you when no one is looking? Right? Ancestors again. We got ancestors 2 or 3 times and eternal love 3 times. And that one's about, yeah. So I think you're freeing yourself of maybe some generational curses. And I will tip you off to one thing, is that the twin flame journey usually has no rewards until pretty much the end of the road. And then it's very blissful love. So if you are a little bit older, it's a little later in life, nothing's worked out, and you're wondering romantically what the fuck, Soulmates are there for your journey to help you and hold your hand through it. Karmics are there to cause situations to remind you how you blew it. But twin flames are there for when everything is said and done and you are the person you were always meant to become. Okay? I made it rhyme because you're Irish. Just kidding. I just naturally rhyme sometimes, but it did feel appropriate, didn't it? Yeah, werewolf, exploring wildness. Just go out there, have fun, learn some things, right? It's okay to have karmic experiences that don't work out and that just teach you or show you what you do or don't want. Skull of Flowers, creating through the ashes again. Emotional vampire in reverse. So getting rid of the people who drain you. Finally realizing that you cut off the right people, even if you just give them, I'm glad to hear it, even if you just give them time in the next few months while it's cold. We got the underworld where all things pause and begin again. Ghost, regret, that's okay, because Barmbrack, sweetness and synergy. You're having some regrets, you know how to make it better. Come together right now over bread. Bake bread, make bread. Skull of Stars, infinite possibilities when you gather up. Like that Matt Berry song. And Night Song, hidden talents. So maybe music, I was just randomly singing. Whatever it is, I love it. I feel like we could be done with this deck. That felt really good. That was like a really good, really kind of heavy emphasis on the chaos vibes coming from me this week. And the cards that keep coming out. Eternal love again. Yeah, it's like the ancestors are coming up, or it's not necessarily ancestors though. It's like the soul of people speaking to one another and reminding each other of what we came here to do. And that is a very hard concept for certain people to swallow, but also very hard concept to convey to others. And there are so many ways that your soul can sense or scream to someone's soul that is unattached from them, or if you're too attached to your soul and the other person isn't, like, there could be a lot of discourse that comes with it, but just know that you are protected and you will not be misguided. You will be guided to the correct connections. And Barmbrack again, sweetness and synergy. So there's definitely like this sense of healing coming forward, or at least coming out of winter. So I guess let it be known that your hurt is the best move if that's what you got to do, but also be ready to own up and apologize for your hurt, because otherwise there's no way any of your messages will get through. Okay? The shadow self is to sit down and recognize what we've done in order to mess up the situations that we have or had that teach us to love. Okay? Boom, baby. Yeah. So good. So good. In our sleep, as we speak, listen to the drums beat in our sleep. Lou Reed and Laurie Anderson. In our sleep, as we speak, listen to the drums beat in our sleep. Whatever. They've got big twin flame energy. Megan could never. No, MGK could never. Alright, I think that's it. We could do a little channeled message, but quite frankly, I don't feel like it. I'll have a session to myself later, and if I come up with anything cool, I'll mention it tomorrow. How about that? Oh, you're fine. Thank you for being here. Thanks for tuning in. It's funny you say that, because I literally just said, and now you're back and I have more cards. I said I was going to put this deck away. We have invisibility, authenticity, so once again, being who you are behind closed doors. Apple, risk and reward. You literally never know if you don't try, so you might as well try. Even if it don't taste good, you got to know how it tastes. And forgiveness, reducing burden. One rule of forgiveness I like to remind people is when you forgive others, you are allowing forgiveness for yourself, from yourself, or from other people. And if you think that you can't forgive anybody, then you don't even realize that you need to be forgiven, and that's where the work starts. I know. Isn't that funny? It's actually an accident. So it's hilarious because I also didn't notice. And then a friend of mine was like, yo, it's a palindrome? That's sick. And I was like, whoa, mind blown. I didn't even realize it. It's just short for Illuminati Mistakes. But like, Illy Miss sounds weird, so I just went Illy Milly because it rhymed, not because it was a palindrome. That was just like ultimately a convenience, happenstance. That was just greatness. Yeah, thank you for noticing. Okay, I think we're done with this deck. Feels right, feels good, feels complete. Okay. Go wild, baby, go wild. Go out to the club, delete the apps, live your life, blah, blah, blah. Beautiful stranger. Try to think about what people did in the 90s. Not that long ago, but seemingly so long ago. Like, before we had phones. Like, try to live your life like technology didn't rule over everything. And just, like, really get out there and wait until you feel something. Called to something. Or in a direction, towards a person, towards a place, towards a thing, towards a hobby, anything. Just follow your gut instead of trying to find it. Okay? Get off the internet. That's not for anyone in particular, but for all of us. A reminder. That's why I was like, maybe I should schedule my streams instead of doing it every day, trying to find a pattern when there really isn't one. But also hate the fucking. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, everyone has a lot of self work to do. But yeah, I mean, eventually everything will be as good as you make it. Okay? So, we got one more deck on deck. We got the Cosmic Deck of Initiation, aka my Cards of Inspiration, aka my Angel Messages. So, I'm gonna take a quick second to decompress, roll a fucking ad, who gives a shit, probably have a little snack, keep going, keep moving, keep grinding. Fuck yeah. See you in a minute. Or 3, realistically. And then we'll finish up for the night. And we'll probably peace out and be back tomorrow. Last deck coming up after these messages. And I'm back just in time because it's 4:20 somewhere, right? Yeah, it is. Cheers, bitch. I want to try to stream for like another hour or so, but wow. Hi. I feel like perfect timing. I feel like we haven't seen you since like Leo season. Is that true? No, Virgo season. But yeah, it's been a while. What's up? I'm back. I'm trying to stick to a schedule. Yeah, part of me wants to just go relax and do nothing and eat snacks and blah blah blah. And the other part of me is like, let's give this deck as much attention and love as we gave the other two. So I'm just gonna take a minute before I jump right into it and just like chit chat, talk to you. What's up, you guys? Oh, is that why I was like, wait, so it's Leo season? That's so funny. I remembered. I feel like gold hairs is very Leo vibes too. So welcome back. Earlier in the night, I did a Thoth reading to get the general scoop on what is going to be pertinent this week, and then we moved into a Halloween oracle reading of the shadow self, in which I mostly exposed my own shadow side to help teach people what exactly that meant. And now we are moving on to our cosmic deck of initiation, which I don't think I had when you were last here. We'll see. But yeah, it should be cool. Should be fun. I'm kind of in the mood to like light some incense. You know, I don't know which ones. Maybe some peace. That sounds good, doesn't it? Light some peace incense. Because yeah, that sounds like it would be a good thing. What's everybody else doing? I'm in a pretty good mood. I just know myself, and I'm showing a little bit of erratic behavior because my hormone levels are hard adjusting in my body and brain this week. Doesn't it? I usually constantly burn them, but I have a lot of different kinds of incense, but I'm low on every single one. But it's hard to justify buying more when you have so many fucking open packs. I'm struggling with that because I have like the whole zodiac, and I'm like should not spend more money on incense, but I don't want to burn them all. So I'm fucking weird like that. And yeah, it kind of cracks me up. But so I'm like, let's burn some of these. I usually burn them like all night when I'm doing readings, but being more thoughtful lately. But yeah, we're about to call on the angels, so let's get some peace. Let's get some quiet, some sensei. I'm hearing, I don't know why. And then something bells. So I don't know. I feel like sensei's particular to something, is it not? It's weird that whatever fell is just kind of lost in there. I'll figure it out later. I think it's lip gloss. But it's funny that sensei came to mind, and I'm just so not sure why. Because like I've had mentors and guides and people in my life, spiritual bonds or leaders, but sensei just doesn't feel like my kind of term. So, here, look at this. While I go put this in my incense burner. It's a close-up. Okay, that was another reason I slowed down on burning the incense, is because I moved it so that it would waft more than it did when it was just sitting above my desk. So, hello. That was silly, but it was fun, right? Oh my god. Giving everybody a headache. How'd I have it before? I don't know. That seems like relatively the same. That's so nice. It actually feels like it helps to ground me and I have better focus when I have that scent. 10:10. It's actually 12:12 though, depending on where you're at. I think at this point, even in Pacific time, it's 12:12. Yeah. Yeah. Not, well, like the date, not the time. So that's super cool. Yeah, that's great. It's totally awesome. Cool. 12:12. We'd love to see it. Angel numbers. So yeah, speaking of angel numbers, am I ready to jump into these? I got them out the bag. Yeah, so it's now December 12th. It's 12:12. It's midnight hour. So this is a really special time. I think this timed out really well that you would pop in right now on this day at this time for this particular deck. Which, like I said, I don't know if I had these when you were on here, but my mandalas, my angel cards. I know my lighting is whack. I keep forgetting that I need to like adjust around here. I changed up my stuff. I'm using a different light than I had before. My color changing one was so much fun, but I like it too much. I'm selfish. I have it elsewhere. But this is the first card out is Sagittarius. So like it is Sagittarius season right now. Sagittarius season right now. Man, it's bad. Now I know. It's probably because I moved the camera. It's like too close to the light. I can't help it. It's so beautiful. Okay, sorry. I'm a headache. Okay. Great. Anyways, yeah, so Sagittarius season, it's 12/12. Synchronicities, mirroring, love, making, matching, coming in, lots of different things because it depends on who you are and how you're living. We've got Aquarius and laughter. So, like, you'll be laughing about all of this by Aquarius season, I would bet. Whatever is playing out in these next couple weeks may take you by surprise and be very shocking. And it feels like scripted bullshit because I hear the other readers say it too, but also here I am validating what they're saying and providing messages in the same way where it's like, yo, yeah, this energy is real as fuck. And it is as real as you are open to it being. And if you expect the unexpected, then of course it can't be coming because it's no longer the unexpected thing. So you have to not ignore your problems, but once again, by Aquarius season, you will be laughing about this. So you need to just chill out, do what you need to do, have your head down or up or out or, it's really about a reflection period of knowing what role you've played in things and what you've done in order to know how to act accordingly. Okay, so miracle. There's just one thing and I'll be okay. I need a miracle every day. Taurus, it's me. Taurus has been getting the miracle card, and I'm not trying to say that for myself, but universal healing and universal balance just came out the deck, bro. That is beautiful. So things really are shaping up, whether or not it's in the way we want them to, or whether or not the way we plan or expect or whatever, things are happening the way they're meant to. But more than that, it's this mode of self-acceptance that is making things happen. That's the key thing here. Is like once you get self-healing, self-help, and the self-love journey mastered, then it becomes universal healing and universal balance, and not just balance within, because you then can carry that onward. People who ask who heals the healer are not healers themselves, because the healer heals themselves. The healer heals the healer. And that's because once you can heal the self, you may heal others. That is literally how it works. Put the fucking life mask on. And that's not to say that you cannot seek a healer for help and healing. That's the whole purpose of a healer. But how do you know you're a healer? You heal yourself. Boom, baby. That's what it is. I love that. I think that's the Leo card right there. Leo and Golden Rule. That's Lionsgate energy AF, right? All that yellow looking the same. I know the lighting is bad. I'm sorry. That was nice, right? So it's a lot of positive energy, but it's also just focusing on yourself in new ways. It's like focus on you, King. Focus on you. Stay on your grind. Keep your head down. Blah blah blah. It's not that kind of energy. That's just tacky. That's capitalism at its weakest, right? This is focus on you, as in the core of who you are. Universal abundance. Boom, 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 boom. We got all these universal cards. At the bottom of the deck, universal abundance. On the table, universal healing, universal balance. Taurus, so keep your Taurus friends close because they're about to be on the come up. They're about to have that miracle. And then we got Sagittarius, so we're talking about Sagittarius season right now. Sure, Sagittarius energy, yes, but Sagittarius season is happening right fucking now. And then right after that, we got Aquarius season, so we're looking at something in the next 2 weeks, bringing in a period of abundance for the next 2 months. And eventually, at the end of it, you will all be laughing together once again. Because laughter is the best medicine. So I have this pile that I want to get in. But in order to call this abundance into your life, we're talking about the hyperfixation on the self to the depth of the fuck? Where do you think you are? No, I'm kidding. I'm in a bad mood today. I love Aunt Zelda and my cherry girl. LOL. No, it's not what this is about. Anyways, you're number 12, so I think that says enough. I'm just kidding. Come on. That would make Aries number 1, and then, nah. So, big jokes. I don't really hate any zodiac sign because I hate the people I hate equally without reservation based on their birthdays, right? Saving the best for last is what somebody says when you're waiting in line, right? I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm tapping a song because I'm trying to get back on track. Trying to remember what I was saying. I just have a song. Every time I see the laughter card, I think about this line in a song. So now it's like all I can hear. This is exactly what is irritating about Pisces, right? Like, why even be disruptive when you didn't really have anything not only valid but interesting to say? I'm just kidding. Come on, man. Gotta rip a little bit. Tyler Durden in the house. He's a fucking dick. Okay. Yeah. It's good. It's good. Overachiever. Hard believer. Okay, got it. So, focusing on the self is not to say just stay busy or get involved or put your head down and work and blah, blah, blah. Once again, capitalist ideals. Like the fucking Ashley Simpson song. The pieces, the pieces, the pieces of me. I think she's Cancer and Ryan Cabrera Scorpio, if I'm calling correctly. Don't know though. Don't quote me on that. So focusing on the self is more about focusing on the person that you were when you were a child. It's not as simple as to say the inner child because sometimes who you wanted to be wasn't who you were, and who you are now isn't necessarily what you projected as yourself, right? So try to think back and connect to the earliest times you remembered wanting to do what you're doing now, or recall the time where you felt very sure about what you were wanting to do, even if you didn't pursue it. And that would be a good mile marker to sort of put your checkpoint in a sense. Perhaps it would be 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it doesn't matter. It's like if it's a childhood thing or if it's a kind of like a coming of age thing or a midlife crisis or something, some kind of milestone point. that you can reference of like where you were then versus where you are now. And this came up in one of the readings today, but I want to say it was the Thoth reading and not the Shadow reading, but they were both pretty long, so I think I'm getting it all mixed up. But this is like to be able to look at things from your own perspective and like also giving yourself credit for your own experience and the work that you are doing or have done. So while the shadow self wants to humble thy person, whoever's shadow it is wants to humble their own self, um, the inspiration comes to say, hey, you still deserve that. You still earn that. You still are worthy of it, even if you have to do this other work or have this other side of you, right? Like there's always two sides of a story in the same way that there's two sides of the self, in the same way that there's two ways that things can work out. Okay. And that's when you work with it, when you work against it. So this is really like you will be laughing about the situation come February, I would guess. But right now, law, yeah, no, I worked on that for a really long time where I am recently like, damn, bro. Not only am I exactly what I imagined myself to be, which most people really can't say that, and I'm like very blessed that I'm able to, even if I'm not necessarily where I want to be or at the a certain level of success that most people would be at the mile marker of being my age, right? But I finally do feel worthy of it because I'm like, my experience is incredible. I mean, life was awesome. I may have not gone down some other route, but because I went this one, I got to be who I am. And now I need to step up and allow that to become my reality as much as it's become who I am, right? So it's cool. It's like accepting recognition, accepting acceptance itself. I got an aqua moon, man. I've always been so ostracizable. I'm the ostrich. With primalastrology.com. I don't know how legit that is or what the science is behind it or what it's based on, but I got an ostrich for my birthday. So like yes, easily ostracized. And I don't mind it until I mind it, where it's like, ugh, I don't fit in and I don't want to sit here and pretend to or try to or anything. And a lot of people never vibe with that, and that's okay. I was very reminiscent of a Wednesday Adams in the most recent depiction on the show Wednesday. That's very akin to who I was in like the pre-middle elementary slash middle slash high school until I started pretty much doing drugs in my mid-teen years. So very big Wednesday Adam vibes. So of course you feel unworthy because if you never get the basic acceptance or basic praise or basic um, validation of fitting in, it's easier to reject any kind of acceptance or any form of flattery or any, because it's like you're so used to not having it or not caring for it or, like I always remind people, like, it's not that I never gave a fuck, but like, no, I have very much put people's opinions on a low slot for influences of my decisions in any way, shape, or form. Like, what other people think has very rarely affected who I am or what I'm doing, because I've always been very in touch with that aspect of life that people are going to dislike you no matter what you do, right? And I learned that from a young age. Once again, aqua moon shit for real. For real, for real. Just being so damn kind of like not out of so in touch that you can stay attuned to know when people don't fucking like you. Like it's a blessing, truly. But anyways, we've got law of compensation. So the payouts are still coming. I care about people, but that doesn't mean I care about their opinions. Like I'm still very empathetic and compassionate, but and I think it is healthy to like consider what people think. But it should never stop you from being. And I guess I do mean this on a more superficial level. I've always dressed the way I wanted to, or spoken the way I wanted to, or experimented the way I wanted to, because I can also take accountability for my actions and say when I'm wrong, or say when I'm, you know, gonna change or do something different. Because if I, I have to be able to learn to see it and always hear people out. That's the thing. You got to be flexible and down to debate as long as you know how to have a proper debate, or at least keep it a discord. I don't get it. Exactly. Where it's like, oh, there's a reason for that, And not everybody has to vibe with you, and just because someone doesn't get along with you doesn't inherently make them a bad person. But you can be civil about, being a different vibe than somebody, and just, hey, let's not pretend to be friends and have a big blowout to walk away from each other and just fucking civilly say, I don't think this is meant for us. Okay, cool. Lesson learned. Go the short route. Cool. Less of a burn. Maybe the bridge is there, maybe someday. But yeah, law of compensation, going through the motions, doing all this stuff, having this level of self acceptance is going to. Okay. Because I was putting it in context of the card saying, oh, I am amazing. And I was like, just kidding. I wasn't talking about myself, although. Despite the fact that that wasn't about me, I am very good at what I do. I'm sorry that I had to explain it twice to you. So, law of compensation, right? That is part of universal abundance. Is everything is abundant generally at the core of it, and on the flip side, anyone can access it. To an extent, it's thanks. Like, I know it's a quick conversation. We're not all native to English, I guess. I don't know. But totally get where everyone's coming from. It's not like I'm going back. Yeah, once again, I'm not going back and forth. I know I'm good at what I do, and that's okay. So, law of compensation. We're talking about the harvest coming through in Libra season during the fall time. And I think that's when people were kind of told what they were going to get. And yeah, it's just much more casual than you're making it out to be. It's almost like spirit lets you know, or it was a feeling, or shown in these little ways until it comes out and is what it is. And law of compensation is that anything paid will be paid back, anything owed will be due, right? Like, that's kind of the idea of it. Law of transmutation is, think about transmuting energy and going from one form, shape, or being into the next, and transferring that energy, right? But put it in the perspective of being human. The law of transmutation is that something that once was will always be, essentially, or like the idea that matter can only be recreated and never destroyed, or like the basic principles of life would fall under the law of transmutation. Okay, and then we have a trinity. So a trinity is like the opposite of a black hole. So if a black hole is ultimately destruction or the unknown, then a trinity is an opportunity to look into the future and create your own possible reality. And when you pass through a trinity, it's a very magical time. We have Scorpio, so could be Scorpio. I just was saying something about Libra season, and Scorpio season would be a reflection of the compensation, right? So like fixed signs were resting, and then everyone else was trying to make up for the fact that they're resting. It was kind of LOL. But yes, Scorpio energy, so water, intuition, being connected, being part of it, even. Law of limitation, knowing that no matter what you want, there are limitations in the universe because it comes down to free will, right? You cannot include anyone else in your manifestations because they have the will and their own sovereignty to not be included in your bullshit. Other limitations would be you still are human, and so you do sort of fall under a certain category of what humans are capable of or what they have been capable of at some point in their timeline. And other laws of limitation would be, once again, human restrictions, what we can physically see or physically touch or physically know, is always going to be subjective or theoretical. So there is limitations in the universe, but it's about working with them, duality. Considering these limitations and considering these hang-ups, if you will, in your manifestations, in your Trinity spots, in your decisions, if you will. So inner vision, in your inner vision. Understand the laws of limitation when you picture things that happen, right? Because you can never force someone to do something they don't want to do. Simple, but hard when you're like, oh, but I really want to marry this person, and you like idealize a wedding. Basic stuff. Like girls are raised to do, you know. Mrs. Timberlake. And we're like 6 years old. Like, what the fuck? Weird culture. Okay? So, Taurus, speak up. If you're a Taurus, use your voice. You rule the throat for a reason. And guardian angel, know that there's big blessings, big protection around you. Universal forgiveness. So, number one rule of forgiveness is that if you have the ability to forgive others, you have the ability to forgive self. And when you have the ability to forgive self, and you recognize that you are worthy of forgiveness, you realize that it is possible to let go of feelings like guilt, shame, and even pain that comes with harboring not only secrets, but, you know, harm. Okay? Wow, and what's this? Universal wisdom. I dropped so much knowledge tonight. I know I did it in the abrasive Tyler Durden kind of hateful, rude way, but there was so much wisdom in that fuckboy energy. I swear to God, through every reading. Okay, it's just one of them days. It's really gonna be like more of the next 8, but it's okay too. We'll get through it like we always do. So, you know, I'm gonna roll some ads and I'm gonna get out of here. You don't have to watch the ads. I'm not gonna come back. It's been a lovely night. I streamed. There's a first video. We got disconnected halfway through, so the first deck is on the other stream, and this is the second 2 decks. So if you want to watch the Thoth reading, it's the Bring the Fire, and then at the beginning of this reading. Thank you. I don't really even know what that means. But thank you. Thank you. I have a lot to learn about Twitch, but I was considering giving it up and then decided to come back. So, like, I have a lot to learn about Twitch, and I'm pretty bad at sitting down and learning about it because I got so many other things that I'm working on, like trying to release a couple songs today on December 12th because it's 12/12, and it's just a couple cover songs that I'm pretty much done with. So, yes, I do. No, I don't. No, I don't. I've misread what you were asking. No, I am not that well versed in the Twitch universe. Like, no. No idea. But that's cool. That's cool. I will definitely look into it more. And yeah, these cards are being quiet for once. That's really not for once like that. But tonight I had a hard time putting them away. But the angels are done singing, man. I was singing to the choir. So, yeah, I am streaming later tonight. Hopefully, I'm releasing a couple songs today, just some simple covers I made. And then I will be streaming my pink deck, my demon oracle, and my mystery deck tonight to get some insight more in romantic situations. And I do not have songs on my YouTube. I don't have any videos yet, but I have some music on my website, which is kind of down right now. I don't have the proper link, but you can click through and find it. Some music on my website, music on my Bandcamp, and music on my SoundCloud. It's at Illy-Milly on everything, so I think the links are all in there. Yeah, so hopefully I'm confident enough to drop them today because I want to. 2 covers. Take your best guesses. No, and then I'll be back tonight around the same time, like 9 p.m. Pacific, and yeah, so I'm gonna get some sleep and I'll be back all day, every day. Not really true. I don't know why I said that, but my energy will be back and is here to last. Okay, whatever that means. Clearly, gotta go. All right, so it's been a great night. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out to the end. Watch the replay if you missed it. Yes, and I'll be back later tonight, 12:12. What a delight. Happy angel numbers. Happy Sagittarius season. We got another like 12 days of Sag season on the 12:12. I love that though. I might be exaggerating on 12 days left of Sag season, but it's enough. 12 days of Christmas? I don't know. Not doing the math. Cool. So, yeah, good night and good luck, everybody. And once again, rolling an ad, not coming back. Sorry about it. Gotta make my money, honey. Okay. Um, love you. Thanks again. Good night.